Outlander Season 7, Episode 5 has come out. It is titled Singapore, so let's talk about it. As always, this will have spoilers for the show and the books, so if you are looking to avoid those, please do keep on scrolling. So as we go about this breakdown in order of events, the episode starts out in Lollybrock with Bree and Roger, and Bree finds Jemmy and Mandy playing in the graveyard and tells them that they shouldn't be playing in there, at which point Jemmy and Mandy both reveal to her that Mandy is trying to communicate with her grandfather. This makes Bree feel like there is a very high probability that Jamie and Claire might be buried there, but she cannot handle that thought, so instead she goes inside to read another letter from them. When she opens this next letter from Jamie and Claire, we see that it is dated June 18th, 1777, which is our only true indicator of how much time has passed since the last episode, and we find out that they are still at Ticonderoga and did not go to Scotland as they intended to. Now, having this thought in the back of her head that her parents might be buried at Lollybrock, but then finding out that they are in a battle zone back in 1777, she gets very emotional about this. And in the books, her and Roger actually do open up the history books to read about what happened at Ticonderoga, but in the show, for some reason, they chose to make a point that they are not going to read about the history. At which point we are brought back in time to be dropped into the scene with Jamie and Claire at Ticonderoga, and we find out that they've been there for months at this point, and Jamie once again has found himself as a leader amongst the men there. This entire storyline of the episode with Jamie very closely mirrors that of season 2 when he is dealing with the Bonnie Prince and the Bonnie Prince's inability to listen to Jamie's tactical advice, even though once again he is right. And as we see him go back and forth with General Formoy and argue his point about guarding the fort from the higher ground that the Highlanders most likely will take, it very strongly makes the argument of Jamie's growth as a man, because it's so similar to his time in season 2 when he was hot-headed and he would have gone against orders and done what was right anyways, whereas now as a grown man who's responsible for not only the men at this fort, but his family and his future and Bree and the future of this country, he chooses to keep quiet in these moments that historically he would have been outspoken. And while at Fort Ticonderoga, we see that Denzel and Clare are finally together and meeting one another. I loved these two characters together in the books, and I also love that for Denny, his first gut reaction is to believe Claire and want to work with her, which is contrasted very strongly with Stacktoe and the other men of this fort who are always inclined to not believe Claire. I do want to do a separate video about how similar Rachel is to Claire, and a lot of that is thanks to her relationship with Denny, but I'll do that separately, so come back for part 2.